Hi, I'm Brooke Wallace, filling in for Max Brantley with your Arkansas Times News headline updates for Thursday, August the 8th. At a press conference Thursday morning, civil rights attorneys Ben Crump and Michael Lowe said they were prepared to file 4 new civil rights lawsuits in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Arkansas on behalf of 9 plaintiffs and against 50 Little Rock Police Department officers, including former Police Chief Kenton Buckner, and the City of Little Rock for violations of plaintiffs' constitutional rights, Fourth Amendment violations, and police misconduct. Crump and Lowe are seeking compensation for the plaintiffs and said that, quote, hopefully, city leadership will agree to provide it. Lowe explained that the 4 new lawsuits would be filed in increments because the attorneys want to give the City of Little Rock an opportunity to do its due diligence to accept all of our facts, ones that we can prove, and give them a chance to possibly address this so that we could be spared additional litigation, end quote. The attorney said they would file the complaint for the first lawsuit after the press conference on behalf of Little Rock residents Susan and Chris Davenport and Susan's sons, Lloyd and Floyd St Clair. Lloyd, a former truck driver who was 59 years old at the time of the incident, was shot 3 times in September of 2016 when his home was raided by the LRPD, and he now uses a colostomy bag. In the Davenport and St. Clair lawsuit against the city and 29 LRPD officers, including Buckner, a judge issued a warrant for officers to search the property after an alleged drug buy took place at Lloyd St. Clair's home. There were 2 neighboring houses on the property, one at 3220 King Road, where Susan and Chris Davenport lived, and one at 3114 King Road, where Lloyd and his brother Floyd lived. Lowe said the officers wanted to raid 3114 King Road, but they got an affidavit to raid the home at 3220 King Road. The basis for the warrant was for the alleged drug buy at St. Clair's home, but the address listed on the warrant was for Susan Davenport's home. Well, in a meeting of the State Medical Marijuana Commission on Tuesday afternoon, commissioners approved name changes for 3 dispensaries, floor plan changes for 5 dispensaries, and change in ownership requests for 4 dispensaries. The commission also began reviewing rules for processors who will be licensed to process cannabis given to them by cultivators or dispensaries with grow licenses to then make different cannabis products such as concentrates, extracts, edibles, and topicals. After all, the commissioners shared concerns that they didn't know enough about the, quote, requirements processors will have to meet in order to be licensed. Alcohol Beverage Control's Dora Lee Chandler said the commission would be provided with the ABC's draft of processor rules sometime in the next 2 weeks. Chandler also provided updates to the commission about the status of dispensaries and cultivators. She said the remaining 2 cultivators who've yet to open, Natural State Wellness Enterprises and Delta Medical Cannabis Company, both of Jonesboro, should be open before the end of the year. 6 dispensaries are open, and if a Bentonville dispensary opens next week, that will bring the state's count up to 7. Well, Wendy Richter, the director of the Arkansas State Archives, will retire at the end of next week on Friday. She has been battling breast cancer with intense chemotherapy and radiation. In addition, she had a rollover car wreck on Interstate 630 on her way home in Midway, Hot Springs County, in June. Though she was not badly injured, she said today that she's a little fearful now about driving on the interstate. Richter took over from Lisa Spear in March of 2018 at a time of turmoil at the Archives, which had once been a standalone commission but was transferred to the Department of Arkansas Heritage in 2016. Former commissioners were relegated to an advisory role. Spear resigned abruptly. Well, that's all the news headlines we have for today. You can read more on the Arkansas blog. Thanks and see you tomorrow.